welcome in online series of machine design. Myself Naimisha Goswami, and in today's session we will learn about rolling contact bearing, basic classifications of your rolling contact bearing. We have already discussed in previous lectures. So in this lecture we will discuss about how to select a bearing, okay, and what is the specifications of bearing. So this will we will discuss in today's lecture. So first of all, selection of bearing type, okay. So how we will select bearings? So bearings are always select on basis of their applications. So this is the main fundamental, okay. So if there is heavy load requirement, or load on bearing will be very high, or load on bearing will be very low. So how much amount of load bearing has to withstand? So that is basic criteria for the selection of bearing type, okay. So for low and medium radial loads, generally ball bearings are selected, and when we will talk about heavy load, right, so we will just prefer the roller bearing, okay. Ball bearing are limited for the low load applications, and roller bearings are used where we require to withstand high amount of load. So this is the basic criteria, okay. So now on that basis, again we have discussed about the self-aligned bearing, spherical bearing, right, and cylindrical bearing, deep groove bearing. So on the basis of different application, we will select the different types of bearing. So for example, here we are talking about the self-aligned ball bearing and spherical roller bearing, okay. Both have the quality they can permit the shaft deflection up to plus minus 1 degree, okay. When shaft will be deflected, so the bearing will try to bring back the shaft to the original position. So this is basic function of your self-aligned ball bearing and spherical roller bearing. We have already discussed about this in last lectures, right. So here, so where we will use, okay, so these are used where misalignment is permit, okay, between the axis of shaft and housing, okay. So on that basis these bearings are used. Next is your thrust ball bearing, okay. So where we use thrust ball bearing? So thrust ball bearings generally used for the medium thrust load, okay. So these means thrust ball bearing, we have discussed about the thrust ball bearing and radial ball bearing, and similarly thrust roller bearing and radial roller bearing, means these are defined on basis of your in which direction load will be applied. When load is applied along the axis of rotation, then you can say that this is thrust bearing, and when load is applied perpendicular the axis of rotation, then you can say that this is your radial bearing, okay. So for example, when we consider about thrust ball bearing, you can see here, so thrust ball bearing is used for the medium load, and when we will talk about the heavy thrust load, okay. So generally cylindrical roller thrust bearings are used for your heavy load applications, okay. So this is basic selection criteria. Again, where we use deep groove ball bearing, angular contact bearing and spherical roller bearing. So we have already seen about spherical roller bearing are used where misalignment is required or misalignment is happened, right. So we use your spherical roller bearing, okay. And deep groove ball bearing and angular contact bearing are used where load acting on bearing consists of two components, means deep groove ball bearing and angular contact bearing are used where we can use simultaneously or load withstand condition is required radial as well as thrust, means both load are acting at one place, okay. So on that basis these bearings are used, okay. For example, yes, now practical applications, right. So practical applications, generally these are used in electrical motors, compressor, fans, conveyors. We know all these are the equipment where we use shaft, right? So for supporting purpose of shaft we use bearings. So bearings are used in these all practical applications. Okay, when we talk about the rigidity control, okay, rigidity means they are rigid, they will not allow any type of deflection. For example, machine tool spindles, okay. So, in this case, generally we used your double row cylindrical roller bearing, or we can say that taper roller bearing. So, these bearings are used where rigidity is your main criteria. So, example is your spindle. Now, when a next selection criteria is when line of contact of bearing, where we require the line contact, where we require the point contact, and when we require the surface contact. So, on that basis, these are used for different applications. For example, we have already discussed about here when rigidity consider, okay, when we consider the rigidity is main criteria, okay. So, we use cylindrical roller or we can use the taper roller, right. So, by using these bearing, these are having line contact, okay. So, these are having the line contact, so these are used for the heavy load condition, okay. Where ball bearings having the point contact, so these are used for the low load withstand condition, okay, or for to bear out your low load condition. So, these line contact improves your rigidity of system, okay. Rigidity means it will not allow the deflection, okay. They are rigid on their place, so they are used for the supporting purpose, and rigidity is also one of the most important criteria, okay. And when we consider noise can be tolerated, okay. So, for example, household applications, right. So, for example, in this type of bearing, we can use the deep groove ball bearing, we can use in household applications. So, noise can be tolerated in household, right, somewhat, not in major condition, but at somewhat. So, on that basis, deep groove ball bearings you can use. Next. So, when load, yes, next is classification and your selection is completed, okay. On what basis you have to select the different types of bearing. Now, next point is this, ki you have to find out or you have to calculate your static load carrying capacity. We can say that static load rating, or it is also known as static load carrying capacity, okay. So, what is static load? We have to discuss the two fundamental, static load and dynamic load, okay. So, here we will discuss about static load, then we will discuss basic static load, then dynamic load, and then basic dynamic load and equivalent dynamic load. So, that we have to cover, okay. So, what is static load carrying capacity or simple static load rating, okay. So, when we consider, so these are calculated by considering a bearing which is non-rotating. Non-rotating means this will be in static condition, right. So, when we consider the bearing is non-rotating condition, means this is in static condition. So, when it is the permanent deformation which appears either in balls or either in rollers, okay, and race under static load of moderate magnitude increase gradually with increasing load. So, what is the mean by this? It is indicating that when we apply load continuously, gradually on a static bearing, okay. So, in this case, when these load are or simple static load are applied continuously, then there may be deformation occurred, right. And when we increase the continuous load will be increases, so your deformation will also increase. So, this is mean by this paragraph, okay. So, therefore, the permissible static load is dependent upon the permissible magnitude of permanent deformation. Means when up to what condition or up to what limit you will permit the deformation. So, that will define your permissible load Okay, so permissible deformation will define your permissible static load. Means how much amount of your deformation you will permit, okay, or standard permitted. So on that basis we will define that is the maximum limit, or you can say that this is your permissible load condition, this is the permissible static load condition which is you can apply it without deformation, without failure, not without deformation, without failure. Okay, so means static load is load when we apply it on static rotating bearing is called static load. Okay, and this is depend on up to how much amount of deformation may be permit. So that amount of load which is causes the deformation, or we can permit ki, okay, done, it is okay, up to 10 mm deformation we can permit the load, okay, or up to 10 mm deformation is permitted. So up to 10 mm deformation, or for 10 mm deformation, how much static load is required, that is known as your permissible static load. Okay, so standard condition, the total permanent deformation, I have given the example of your 10 mm, okay, but in standard case, total deformation of 0.0001 times of your wall diameter. For example, your diameter of wall diameter is 10 mm, okay, which we are used inside of your bearings, right, walls used. So if we are considering 10 mm is diameter of your wall, right, so deformation is equal to 0.0001 multiplied by 10 mm. So this is your permissible condition, okay, and what condition it will occur? Occurring at most heavily loaded wall, means there are the several walls are inside of bearing, right, so there may be one wall which have the highest amount of load, or that will tolerate the highest amount of wall. For example, there are total number of walls are 5, right. So for example, second number wall is having, or wall is tolerated by or suffered by, right, highest amount of load, okay. So that second wall is your heavily loaded wall, okay. So in that respect we will find out the deformation. For example, remaining 4 walls are not, for example, on second number wall there is load of 10 kilonewton, okay, and for example at the same time other walls are also suffered by for a momentary 9 kilonewton, for a momentary, okay, I am not talking about continuous condition, but for a moment, right. So that which ball is heavily stressed, or having, or you in other language you can say that the ball which is having highest deformation at the heavily loaded, okay.